Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Pro Cycling Manager 2019, and we're on Career Mode, episode number 7, and it's the second stage of the Tour of Antalya, as we're racing on the southern coast of Turkey. So right on the Mediterranean. Second stage opens with a Category 1 climb, and then it's fairly flat all the way to the end. So technically it is a sprint stage, and even though we did not come with our top sprinters, Maxime Ooms is actually one of the favorites. So none of the teams really showing up with any top sprinters, giving us a little bit of a chance at some sort of success here. Ooms is 6th overall, Sepp Kuss is 9th overall after the first stage, and we'll see if we can capitalize and do something in this one. It is pretty undulating towards the end of this stage, though, so there's a very good chance that we will not end up with a full bunch sprint, and things, well, could be a little bit on the smaller side on the group at the end, so we got to make sure we keep those guys well protected. But I'm going to get to that. We'll also make sure we get everyone up and over that first climb, and I'll see you towards the end of stage number 2. 35 kilometers left here in stage number 2, and I was absolutely right in my thinking that this would not be a full field bunch sprint, but there's still 92 riders in the peloton.
Let's hope he has helped out quickly.
But the pace has been pretty hot. One good thing going for us is, well, no, let's start with the bad news first. King started the breakaway. They chased him down. Didn't let him through. Another 5 riders trying to get into a break here. And they're already reeled in right away. I do need to step up our effort level, though, as we go through these undulating areas towards the finish. Anyway, as soon as he was reeled in, I sent Barta instead, as King was pretty tired too tired to make another effort at that point. So I sent Barta, and then Barta did make it into the group. It was initially 4. As soon as they hit that Category 1 climb, one of them dropped off the back, and then about halfway up, a second one dropped off the back, and it was down to 2. Barta himself was actually getting pretty weak, so I actually sat on. The lead started coming down pretty quick over the rest of the group, but as soon as I increased effort with Barta, he instantly just rode the other guy off his wheel. Got to the top alone, but without energy, so he earned all the points on the Category 1 climb, which was nice. But the field had him caught before he even reached the sprint point. There's been a few attempts to form a breakaway since then, but the field itself has just kind of acted like a breakaway, and bit by bit, the peloton has shrunk more and more and more. Cassart was one of the ones who was dropped, and he's been a really good example. He was about 2.5 minutes behind, and then he was about 3.5 minutes behind, and just gradually he's gotten further and further back. So the pace is definitely there, and those that are getting dropped are not yo-yoing. They have not been coming back, and so we continue to shrink, and we're down to just 79 riders now. I've got 6 guys for a potential sprint here, but I've got to preserve a couple for the overall. Evenepoel and Kuss are going to be those 2, which means I have 4 riders to set up, lead out, and contest the sprint, which I think I might take off at about, 12k to go. On that, we're going up one of the last steep sections. That next climb would actually be a really, really good opportunity. So as soon as we hit the top here, I think that'll be a good time to form up, even though we'll be a little shy of 12k at that point. But you can see the pace has gone out of the group just a little bit, and that's the top. Let's pause. Let's get back down here. Let's take our riders, and we will form up. It's 13k. I was looking for about 12, but we're going to be on this downhill descent And that's not going to do any damage. There's still a bit of downhill towards the finish. So outside of that one climb, we are looking pretty good right now. So Koos, Evenepoel, Koos is higher in the standings, so we'll protect him a little bit better. Keep him right on Oom's wheel. Ooms, who's going to be your lead out? Barta could be good for this climb. Viking, not as much, but he does have good acceleration. Mater is definitely the better of the trio as a lead out, though none of them are too well suited to it. I'm going to have Iking as the in-between guy. I want Barta to get us up this climb. So Barta is going to take to the front here. He's already in a good position. Give these guys a chance to form up. Now I'll start bringing him forward. And I'm going to use his gel now as he's getting ready. Here's the uphill. We were too far back. Krieger came across the road. That was really bad timing on his part to damage my efforts because it hung all these guys back. I mean, what the heck is going on? Ooms. We got a breakaway. We have got a breakaway. So let's. Wow, Koos. What the heck is going on here? Okay. You're still technically following him. Koos somewhere up the road. Barta, Iking, Mater. Real chance to go for the win here. If we can keep it together. Barta, let's up your effort a bit here. There's Iking, there's Mater. Koos, are you going to get up there? Alright, here comes the field trying to come. Now, Ooms is on his own at this point, so Ooms really is going to shift his efforts to work for Koos if these guys stay away. I want... Or Evenepoel. There you go. Okay, Koos in position. They're off the front. So Barta... Let's look at the profile the rest of the way. We only have this flattening section right now. Little mini saddle. And then we've got the deeper one with the up-down. But a lot of just kind of run-in. Now, Iking and Mater are actually both pretty tired. But can they get Koos a win here? Barta working hard. Not damaging the other guys. They're still, it's just 12 seconds clear, but they're still clear. Okay, Iking's going to take over. Barta is done. And, oh, there's the field. There's the field. Ooh, hello, what just happened here? Cassart. Okay, Oobs is making it back up there. $3K to go. Mater, you're about to take over here. 97. But he's supposed to be leading out Ooms. 1.5. What am I doing? Gel. Here's what we're going to do. Koos. You're going to start your sprint right now. You're going to lead Ooms out here.
There goes the sprint. The strong men are giving their all.
There you go. Okay. Now we're close for Ooms. Come on, Ooms. Oh, Ooms, where's the speed, dude? Where's the speed? Ooms hasn't even sprinted. I mean, there was no sprint there. Zero acceleration from Ooms. He was in a beautiful position, had the opening. Should have won that stage. What the heck, Ooms? Zero acceleration. His acceleration is only a 69, but that looked like a 50. I saw zero change of pace for him. Like the speed that he was getting in the lead out from Koos, who, by the way, did manage to finish 5th after using up everything he had. Zero change of pace from the pace that Koos set. I mean, he literally just stayed in the exact same spot to where he was. Lame! 5th on the stage, though. No time losses. Relatively small group at the end. I didn't see exactly what the numbers were, but I know we did drop some more riders, so that will limit the field a bit. So I suppose we'll take a look and see, even though we weren't able to get the stage, how effective we were pushing the envelope for the overall. But yeah, that was a terrible sprint by because it literally was no sprint at all. He did not accelerate at all after the sprint was assigned. Venapool 24th. Same time through 63 riders. So for the overall, we're looking at 63 riders that are still in contention. Koos down to 12th and 13th as we had a lot of new riders picking up time bonuses here. And all of the top 11 have at least 1 second on the field. .91 kilometers still to go in stage 3, but this is a queen stage, no doubt about it. We've got some relatively serious climbing to go, at least for continental level. You can see we have Category 3 followed almost immediately by a Category 1, and then we've got a pretty serious climb to the finish line. Far from the steepest or longest we'll see, but it will certainly do some damage. There's only 3 riders in the break. They only have 2 minutes as a lead. I'm not going to hit this Category 3 climb, but I am planning to start a push at the base of the Category 1 climb. Now, for the initial push, I'm just planning to use Cassart. So Cassart's going to kind of give his all and get dropped just before the top, and then I might have somebody take over from there, like But I'm just going to use up Cassart to whatever his limitations are, just to try to put a little hurt into the field and hopefully drop a handful of riders so that other teams don't have the support. And then there's a pretty long flat section, and that's why I'm not looking to do too much yet. But that final climb, we're going to go Sky Style, or now Ineos, but I haven't seen Ineos yet with that. And we're going to sprint train up that climb. It's a tactic that is not widely used or widely recommended in this game. But when you have the strongest climbers, plural, it's the way to go. And I have 3 of the top 10 favorites, and then when you add in Barta, who is also pretty decent, and I think just off that list of top 10, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. If we just go protected rider the whole way, the chances of creating a large gap or the chances of getting the win are diminished significantly. Now, if you only have that 1 or 2 riders, then absolutely, you sit in there and you sit on and you do it. But when you have a team that has enough strong riders and is fairly dominant compared to most of the field, then you've got to take advantage of that. Alright, so we're going to put our plan into place here. Cassart is going to take over relay, and we'll see what kind of effort he can give here. Sad thing is I hit relay and he instantly went backwards, so that's not exactly what I was hoping for. I think for him the pace, you're better on hills than mountains, so you're going to go faster on hill. Iking is actually leading my guys are technically leading the way right now, just cruising. But Cassart is nearly out of energy and actually still has not done anything. Finally, he gets to the front. That's definitely not what I had hoped for. And he's done. He led for like 5 seconds. Alright, Iking, can you do one better? His mountain is a 67 versus that 55 for Cassart, so that's why Cassart, it was just ridiculous pacing required. So we'll see if Iking can push a bit more tempo here without a crazy effort. Yeah, there you go. His mountain rating's good enough.
The breakaway is not to everybody's liking. The peloton has significantly increased its speed.
Now, who was Iking protecting? Evenepoel. Mater does not need to be protected. So let's go ahead and protect Evenepoel instead. Iking already starting to put a little bit of hurt into the group as riders drop back. Cassart, the latest to be dropped from the group. And yeah, there you go. There's a good dozen riders out so far. Iking putting some work in. He's doing some damage to these guys. I like it. Mater, didn't I give you an assignment to, protect somebody? Yeah, Koos on an 80 was struggling to keep pace with Iking's 82. That's pretty nice. It's Iking's turning a decent rate of pace. That's a 67 on the mountain. But yeah, this was exactly what I was hoping for. Doing some damage to the group. Now he's not going to be able to do it anymore, but if we keep him at a 99, how's his pace now? It's pretty slow. But 47 riders are all that's left. Iking with a 67 mountain rating will at least keep some pace. You see that group behind us, they're still drifting back further. They're still losing time. Lead rider, Mizuko, has nearly been reeled in. Now, who ended up? It's Barta. Barta's gonna... Oh, it's still 3K. Okay, I'm gonna have Barta attack before the top. I want him to get the points. He's in the Mountain Climbers jersey. It was a Category 1 climb that earned him the points already. And we've got 2K to go. I think it's time to start moving up here. 1.8, 1.7. Barta's going to attack. Now, as soon as he hits that top, he will... I'm going to pull him back as soon as he gets over the top here. There you go. So he goes over the top first. And could be well on his way. 32 points now. Mizuko, the guy who he just passed up, is now on 18 after going through those 3 climbs, including a second place right there. So he picked up a decent amount of points over those. But Barta recovering nicely here. Get him back into the group. Iking still pulling at the front, and we'll keep him on that task as long as he ultimately can. Looks like there's a new attack here from Evans, and other teams now picking up the mantle on leading the field out, which means if they are, we're going to take Iking and go ahead and rest and recover as best he can. Barta, I don't care if he ends up being dropped from this guy or not. There's Evans coming along. Barta just kind of taking the free toe. There we go. There's the peloton. And now Barta puts you back into a normal position. So what do we have? We have Mater. Mater is going to be taking over on Koos here. And then Barta is actually going to relax, as is Mater, so that they can recover. Now we've got 40k to go, and somebody's going to have to go get some water. Let's go ahead and make it Mater. And it's going to be a little while before we get back into any sort of action, so switch our viewpoint. Going to ×4 speed. We'll keep an eye on the gaps because there are 25 riders giving chase, and they do seem to be getting a little bit closer, but they're still going to end up using up the energy even if they catch us before that climb. And it does look, yeah, there you go, back up to 73. Gap though now enough, and this was not the area that I want to climb. Want to attack as we're on the flat here. This is not our area of strength. I don't want to waste our energy on that. So everybody is recovered, ready to go. We have the water taken care of. We'll set up the climb here in a little bit. We're down to 20k. Things are going to ramp up here pretty soon. And I think this little hump right here, this is going to be a good time to pull it together, slow it down. Go back in on the group. Select all. And let's pause it there before we make any drastic changes. Climb just starting at the base. Now, Venipole or Koos? Oh boy. How about resistance? We got a 70 for Koos. 75 for a Venipole. There's your gap right there. So a Venipole is going to follow Koos. Koos is going to follow Mater. Mater is going to follow Barta. Barta is going to follow Iking. And poor old Ooms. At least he's on a +3 today. But Ooms, yeah, he's going to get used up early. You can see he's just a 65 mountain. So pace-wise, we're actually going to push him a little bit. He's better on hills, a 72 on hills. But that means we've got to get closer to a 94 effort level to use up a bit of the hills versus the mountains, which means he's not going to last long, especially with low resistance, but he'll be a lot quicker than if we just go mountains and keep him at, you know, like an 84 or something. So Ooms is not going to last long here at all. We'll start with a moderate effort though. 89, that's already going to go 50-50 on his hills and mountains. And as soon as we get into place,
now's the time to dig deep.
Alright. There you go, he's in position. Now, the harder he attacks, the faster he's going to go. And it shouldn't do too much damage to the other guys because, well, he's so weak in comparison. So 92 is using a lot more of his hills than his mountains. By the way, if you haven't already, I actually just recently put out a tutorial video on the attributes and how those are applied. So be sure to check that out if you're looking into it. I had to do some review myself in preparation for that. And see, Iking is better mountains than hills, so we don't want to go too fast for him. It's maybe an 89. Oops, you're done. And Iking, by the way, we're still at 70 in the peloton, so his pace was not big. Ooms. But things are going to get steeper here. And Iking, already done. Barta, you're going to take over. And you are better on hills than mountains, so we're going to push a bit harder. And it's 4 guys, 7k now. 4 guys, 7 kilometers. In terms of that resistance, he's doing just a little bit of damage to Mater behind him, but very, very little. So he's already taken us 1 kilometer, and just like that, the field is down to 24 riders. Now, what I should have done earlier is have these guys prepped a little bit better, use their gel ahead of time. Barta, let's go a little harder as you're about to run out of energy. And there you go. On to Mater, 5k to go. 23 riders left. Okay, now you're pretty balanced, mountains and hills. And we're down to a pretty elite group. So Mater, we're going to go like an 87. Try to last a little while. 16 riders are all that's left. So we've really put the hurting in on the group. 14 riders is all that's left. Okay, Mater, can you go 99 for a little bit? Our pace is coming out. Fakara can climb. Yes, he can. But I don't want to attack with 4K to go just yet. So, can you... Nope. Fakara's riding away. So, Koos, it's on like Donkey Kong. You're a good climber. Your resistance, not that great. You're pretty good on hills too. But we want to just put in... let's try an 87 and see how we're looking there. With a 75 on mountains, you can turn some pretty good pace without doing much. 13 riders left. 3.4K. At this point, I just want to slowly drop riders off, and it's not even happening slowly. It's happening pretty quick. We're down to 6 riders. Evenipol's still looking pretty good with 2.5K to go. We're going to set him up. Koos, I think I'm going to just kind of keep Koos rolling, and I'm going to let Evenipol just take off. Now, he's pretty good on hills, but not amazing otherwise. So we're going to just... Not 98. What are you doing? What are you doing? 90. Okay, Koos is done. Evenipol getting there towards the top. He's a little bit out of energy. Solano. Solano might have it. Evenipol sprint. Koos sprint. Oh, I think he might have it. Come on, son. Get there first. Got top 2 no matter what, but are we first? No, what? It sure looked like Evenipol had it. Solano takes the stage. Evenipol second. Koos third. So strategy more or less worked out. I don't know. From my angle, it sure looked like Evenipol had a handful of millimeters over Solano and not the other way around. And he's on the left-hand side where the line is clearly closer. I'm going to have to stick around and see that replay. How did he lose that? Cassart still a long ways away, 16 minutes down with the cutoff, a full hour for elimination, so I doubt anybody's going to get eliminated. I'm surprised that the cutoff is actually that long. But Evenipol and Koos now in a very, very strong position for potential overall. Again, I don't know how Solano got over the top. Got to see that replay. Let me see more. Cassart, 21 minutes down now. Finally crosses the line. It still actually ended up in 98th.
We've selected the following highlights for you.
That's not a good show. But he still looks like he's ahead there. When you look at their shoulders. Okay, here you can see he's the one who's millimeters ahead. But as they round the corner, how does he hold that line? As he's got more ground to cover. But that last replay, you could definitely see he was the one with a couple millimeters. You can see right there. So, in front of his wheel, the front of my wheel is about right there. But as you round that corner, that shouldn't exist like that, but it stayed that way, so they're not taking the true pathing. Shorter distance, tighter the apex, that kind of thing. So Solano takes the stage. They've got 36 seconds over Koos. Schelling was there with Koos as well in 4th place. I got 2 guys on the podium at least, and then it's 2 minutes on down from there. So we're already looking at, here are your top riders for the final standings, and Solana with that time bonus is now 8 seconds ahead of Evenepoel. So we had already had a few time bonus seconds somewhere. Koos at 46. Schelling is at 50. Koos picked up the 4 seconds by finishing 3rd. That's the difference between them. And then it's instantly jumps to over 2 minutes down. And Mater and Barta are high enough to actually pick up a few points as well. Mountain climbers competition. Barta is going to wear that jersey. The under 25s, Evenepoel and Koos, top 2. And as a team, we're 8 minutes clear of everybody else. So it's not all golden rays of sunshine as we're in 2nd, but we are looking pretty dang good, and depending on how stage 4 is, we might still have a chance in this thing, but we need 8 seconds to make that happen. So we'll take a quick gander at the profile for stage 4. It should pop up here in just a moment. Totally flat. So, no. We're not going to pick up any seconds on this one. So, 2nd place, 3rd place. Better than nothing. Meanwhile, the GP Isola is going to be taking place. And it's a sprint one as well. But I have a lot more sprinters available for this. So, we'll see if we can get something done with that. So, this race is going to come up first before the final one for that. But as it's a sprint stage, probably no fireworks happening, but a good, solid 2nd, 3rd place. 2 guys on the podium. Is that better than 1? Is that better than a win? No, it's not. But it's a good consolation prize. 36 kilometers left. Breakaway has just 5 riders. They're going to be caught relatively soon. I do have a lot of sprinters here for the GP Isola. So that should be a little bit of a boost to us. You can see the breakaway group is now attacking each other as they're nearly reeled in. As we head towards the finish on this one, still have that 30 kilometers to go, so no sprint train yet. It's a one-day race, so guys like McNulty, I don't need to protect them. So everybody can be part of this sprint train. So we'll have all 7 riders involved for the eventual sprint. And I've got a good number of sprinters here. So we could do something pretty impressive, potentially. 34 riders, as we're seeing a little bit of a split here through town. The helicopter is lagging behind a little bit. We'll see if that actually holds or if they yo-yo back on. But as they seem to be pulling back on for now as we're riding through town. Well, anyway, a couple things of note. For one, Tour de France is underway, finally. Very excited for this year's edition. As sad as it is that Chris Froome has suffered his horrific injuries and is not competing in this year's Tour de France, it does lower the quality of Team Ineos slightly, and it does leave the field somewhat wide open. So there are so many different riders that could potentially win it. Now, most eyes are still on the strength of Ineos and still looking at either Geraint Thomas to defend and again win, or the most exciting prospect to come along in a very, very long time, Egan Bernal, who I've been talking about on this channel for the last couple of years, is already being favored as a potential winner. And let's go ahead and get back down here towards the action as just 16 kilometers left, and we need to get our sprint train formed up, so I'll go ahead and do that now. Now, as of the time of recording, it is the opening day. It is Saturday. It's stage 1. It is coming today. I have not watched it yet. Actually, as soon as I'm done recording this, while I'm rendering this video, I will be watching stage 1. So I have not watched it yet. However, what I have already watched today, what has taken place today, and I'll then talk about instead, as I haven't seen the Tour de France. By the way, if I'm going to make a pre-race prediction, I would pick Bernal. I think he's the rider to beat, but I wouldn't want to put money on that because I think it's way too wide open, and I think that this is kind of the situation that we had last year with when it was still known as Team Sky, where Froome was the leader, Thomas was a secondary protected rider, and then things happened and Thomas ended up in a better position, and only at the end did they decide to ride for Thomas instead. I think Bernal is going to be in a similar situation to that, where he'll be protected, but if it comes down to it, and it's just the two of them left, Bernal's going to have to ride for Thomas. If Thomas cracks, then it becomes Bernal's race. But ultimately, Bernal's going to have to bury himself to protect Thomas, and that alone could cost him the win, but potentially give it to Thomas instead. I'm not saying Ineos has this in the bag by any means, though. So I have Cantor, 74-73. We have Banishek, and then Brian. Brian's looking pretty good. Better resistance for Cantor. Better on the flat as well. So we'll put Cantor as the sprinter. Brian will lead him out. Banishek will be that last lead out guy. Now I know that Owen has pretty good pace. McNulty is just a lot stronger rider, so he's going to have better stamina, even though he doesn't necessarily have pace, though he has some acceleration at least. And then we're down to two domestiques in this race, in Ermino and Vashek, and that's those guys probably aren't going to last terribly long. But with 15K, get that going. Anyway, the one thing I did see this morning already was the third place game for the Women's World Cup. And I've got to throw this opinion out there. If you have not watched this World Cup, shame on you, unless you're not a football/soccer fan to begin with. And then in that case, not shame on you. But if you are a fan of the sport, but you have not watched this World Cup potentially because of the gender factor, that's where I ultimately say shame on you, and big time shame on you, because we're down to 10K here, and let's get Ermino ready. Reason being, this World Cup, a million times better than last year's World Cup. That was the worst World Cup I have ever seen, and the main talking point for the whole stinking thing was over and over and over again about just how many times Neymar would dive and dive and dive. And it was pathetic. It was utterly pathetic, and I was not impressed at all, and I did not enjoy that World Cup. That was the worst World Cup I've seen in a very, very long time. This Women's World Cup has been very exciting. It's been very competitive. You know, outside of that first win for the U.S. Wow, we're down to 3K already. I could pretty much start sprinting right now. Let's try it. It's 3K to go. How much damage are you going to do to the guys behind you? None. 2.5K. Owen. Now he's doing a little bit of damage behind him, but he just got us down to 1.6K already. Wow, Owen's turn of pace apparently was really good, but all of a sudden there's only 12 riders. 1.6K though, and we're going to go back to just 99 effort for Banijek. Coming over the top. Now Banijek will sprint his last little bit. There you go, Brian. Come on, give you a sprint. Our pace is not good right now. We've got Kump coming really fast here. Okay, Brian's done, and finally Cantor, and I think I screwed it up. not the first sprint from McNulty, but Owen, his acceleration was too much. And so he really got up to speed, which was great because there's only 11 riders left. But it's really bad because I took out my own team. Okay, everybody sprint. Cantor might not even get over the top here, but we're looking at a second place, and we managed third. Vermoltfort takes the win. Brian takes second. Cantor takes fourth. We did demolish the field. I suppose that was nice. 10th, 12th. We were not favorites here, so I suppose it's not all bad that didn't work out. The plan, not something I'm used to doing. I'm used to just doing the 99 effort and maybe the last lead-out guy going sprint. I don't think I've ever gone sprint that many guys early, but I had enough riders and a short enough distance to the finish. It was worth a shot. That's called experimenting, and sometimes you have to do that. Otherwise, you don't learn things. So, I'll take it. Anyway, this Women's World Cup, regardless of tomorrow's final, which I have not seen yet, though at the time you'll be seeing this, will have already played out. Regardless of what happens in the final, win or lose for the U.S., exciting or boring, this World Cup was a million times better than last year's World Cup, where honestly, outside of France taking the final, the biggest thing that I remember was just over and over and over again, Neymar taking one dive after another because there was a few hard fouls. And so he assumed that everybody was just going to bully him. And so he just hit the deck over and over and over and over. And 90% of the calls weren't fouls. They were his dives. And that was the ugliest display that I've ever seen. And I have zero respect for Neymar as a player. Zero. So again, I get second. Not a double podium, but a second and a fourth. A ninth and a 10th and a 12th to go with it. Certainly worth points. Again, 5 riders in the top 12. Decent consolation. Still not a victory. We're coming up just short. But team evaluation is fairly good at the moment. And we have that one stage left to go. Just one. But if you haven't watched a women's match of late, and your general complaint is that the competition is not at the same level as watching the men's, watch again. Because that is not the case anymore. The women's game has come a long, long ways from where it was in 99. And I am very proud to say that I live just outside the city of the most well-supported female soccer club on the planet. And I'm not saying that in any bias sort of way. That is a fact. A fact backed up by attendance. Their attendance is twice the average attendance of the second most well-supported club on the entire planet. That is any league. The second most, by the way, is in the U.S. as well, but still. The Portland Thorns are an amazing team. They had, I think it was 8 players at the World Cup representing multiple teams. They had the French captain. They had the Canadian captain. They had 4 or 5 players on the U.S. Bartha somehow gets away here, but there's nothing to contest. There is a little sprint point, but at most you're talking about 3 seconds. So that's not going to get us the win on this one. But we will get everybody up here, and we'll kind of just cruise through to the end on this stage. Enjoy the show. Who's left? Goose. You want to join the party at the front?
There's an attack in the leading group. Some riders were not
We are not a mullet. There is no party in the rear. We like to party at the front.
Some team managers mustn't appreciate the fact that there is a
Because what has
breakaway,
happened
given
to
that
the
pack
Yates
has increased
brothers
its speed.
again and again over the years? Great riders. Suddenly there's a split in the middle of the field. And they miss it. Why? Because they like to hang out in the back. The Yates brothers, no disrespect to them because they are fantastic riders. But as it goes along with what I just mentioned, the Yates brothers are like the mullets of bike racing. They like the party in the rear.
There are a couple of riders who want to go it alone. The pack is putting the squeeze on the breakaway. A couple of teams have set themselves up as pacemakers for the pack. They obviously don't have anybody in the breakaway.
We're going to start to speed things along. And I will get the assignments taken care of here. Koos, of course, in third overall, so we'll get him protected. But this is a sprint stage, so I want Ooms protected for the
breakaway at the front.
Sprint coming up. And we'll put Mater. There you go. There's our guys. More riders trying to join the break. I do have, and this is something you can toggle, by the way, but I do have the alert slowdown activated. So if you have the game sped up and something happens, there's crash, there's a puncture, there's an attack, it's going to go back to ×1 speed. I love that feature, but I wish it had a secondary option to it where you can essentially disable it for the first 20 kilometers. And that was a new feature last year in the 2018 edition. That would make it much better than it is currently, because I have to do a lot of speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up over and over again as the break tries to form. Because once I get my guys into place, I don't care anymore. I'm in place. I don't care about the attacks at that point. They're too far away. They're not going to have any impact. So don't alert me. So I wish you could add kind of that secondary feature. Slow down for a second here. I need to get some water. I got to decide who's going to go back and grab it. How about Barta? Barta, go get some water. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, halfway down the pack and somebody handed you water? That was so nice of them, because I did not see a team car up there. Alright, so quick stage here. Short in general, very, very flat, so we're going to get to the end quite quickly. Again, we are sitting in second and third place as this is the final stage of the Tour of Antalya, so that's the Mediterranean coastline right there. And 23 kilometers, so pretty soon here we will form up a train. Unlike the last one, though, where everyone is available, I've got to keep Koos and Evenepoel on the back end of the group, getting that free tow to the finish line to make sure that they stay within the time. I'd actually almost like to ride for them, and now with just 10K, we better get our stuff in order here. Ooms will sprint. And you guys are going to just take the free ride. I don't have a real lead-out guy for you. Barta, you're in 14th. That's Iking. Mater's in 12th. So maybe we'll just use... Yeah, Mater's actually got decent speed, too. I don't necessarily want them to lose time either, as they will pick up points here. Gasser. It's just... Oh, I didn't set 99. Are you kidding me? I'm going to have to pause every time now. Quick tutorial lesson. Don't do that. If you're going to set a sprint train, select all, select maintain position, select 99, then set things up. Gasser, done. Set him to auto. Iking, get you going. Because there you go, he's on a 70, and then all of a sudden there's no pace. We're going to go 99s because, you know, 6.5K to go.
Only 5 kilometers left.
And when they're all in that follow, even if you select all, you can't change the effort to 99. So you're stuck. You're locked into it. Barta, we're almost there. 4.5K. Actually, we're going to back up just a little bit. We're just now bringing in the breakaway group. 3K. Barta, I'm saving a little bit here because we needed to get a little closer. I think now we can push. Okay. Gotta pause because, you know, not at 99. 1.8K. Go, Mater. Come on. Go a little bit harder here. Okay. Now, I can send Mater on sprint from here. This is where it's supposed to work. Let's see if it actually works. Mater, pulling Ooms, pulling Ooms. You can see Ooms is still pretty fresh here. So, I'm going to break him off, set him 99, and then we're going to select all, sprint. And we're going to ride with Ooms. He's in a great position. Mater has given him the best lead out possible. Evenepoel actually in a decent place himself to potentially get a good finish here. But I don't think he'll get a top 3 and earn any seconds. He's definitely not going to win and get the more than 8 seconds he needs. But can Ooms claim the stage? You better come over the top quickly of Mater. We'll see. Ready? Go. Yes. You got the block out too? Yes! We got it. We got it. Ooms. Maxime Ooms for the win. Finally, Mater brings home 7th place. Ooms bringing home the bacon, apparently. Sepp Kuss takes 14th. Solana was there in 10th. So, while we only managed 2nd and 3rd overall, we do manage to get a stage victory in the end. Great lead out from Mater, and Ooms got the job done, finishing the sprint off. He actually even still had, let's see, a little bit of energy left to burn, meaning we could have gone maybe 100 meters sooner. Big thighs! There you go. 3 achievements there. It's bound to come at some point. So there you go. There's your overall. Ooms comes up just short, 4 points short in the sprint competition, and somehow it's Solano who claims that jersey. Kuss pretty close, though, with 38 himself. Barta does win the Mountain Climbers jersey. There's a nice little bonus. We get the under 25s, and we get the team. So, could definitely call that a successful race. Yes, would have been nice to win the overall, to take that stage 3, to have the millimeters difference on that one, but still call that a good race. Definitely call that a good race. So taking a glance at the progress, as of right now, we've got to be up there in points. First. First in Continental, as a true Continental team, not a Continental Pro. And 18th overall right now. That is awesome. It's a good start to the season. And the sponsors, not too mad after the early challenges that we've overcome. So all in all, things are looking good. Looking good right now. They are definitely looking good. Surprisingly, it's Bora Hansgrohe at the top of the standings in Super Prestige, above Ineos, above EF Education First, also up there. A couple surprises. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. You know, I'm enjoying this moment. Sorry. Happy to get that win. Very happy to get that win. It is our second, but happy to get the win. Anyway, bye for now.